Hey guys, and welcome to my second Bukkit tutorial. I'm Blue1, bringing you the information on how to make these efficiently and effectively. And at the end of every tutorial, the plugin should be fully functional. You should be able to run the plugin without any errors. I'm going to try to make it like that. If I can't, I apologize, but that's my goals. So today we're going to be teaching you how to use and make commands. This will not include subcommands. This will not include permissions. Permissions and subcommands will come later. For now, we're just going to do commands. I'm going to teach you everything I know about that. So we've got our main class copied from last time. We've got our plugin.yml. Same as last time, only I've changed the name to second instead of first and changed the package presentation as well. If you have two plugins, never make the path to the main class the same. Either that or never name the main class the same thing, but I'd just suggest never make the path the same. Otherwise, they conflict with each other, and sometimes neither one, but usually one or neither will work because of that. It'll only register one, and sometimes it won't register any of them. So I've got first right here, I have second right here. They're carbon copies of each other at the moment. What we're going to do is we're going to go into this package and we're going to create a new class, and we're going to name this commands, CMDs, same thing. And that's all we're going to do with that. Now we're going to have it what's called implementing. That means it's going to be using the command executor. This is one of those things you have to memorize the name of it. Then you import it right here, and then you can go over here and add implemented methods. You will get rid of this auto-generated method stub because that's not important. You have to return true. If you return false, nothing happens when you run the plugin, or when you run the command rather. Now this is a boolean. This is a little bit different than a void or a public static or anything of what we've done previously is public void. We will be doing statics later. This is a boolean on command. It automatically sticks it in there. The command sender, since this is the name of the variable, you can name this whatever you like. I like to name it sender. The command I like to name CMD, by the way, because of the lowercase. The string I like to call command label. And the string arguments I like to just call args, just like that. We're not going to be doing the args today. These are the subcommands. Here, one second, there we go. These are the subcommands, and we're not going to be doing that today. We're only going to be doing the command, which you can also use command label. I'll explain that in just a moment. What we're going to do is we're going to get if a player runs a particular command. So how we're going to do that, we're first going to set sender to a player. So we're going to player p equals sender. Now we're going to have to import player, and then we'll have to cast sender to player because it doesn't know for sure that the sender is a player. So this is saying player p is a sender if the sender is a player. Well, I don't know what it did there. There we go. Now we're going to say if sender instance of player. This is a very important part because this shows that the sender is a player and is not the console. If it's the console, you can often cause errors because you cannot give the console an item in its inventory, and that can cause problems. You can only do certain things to a player, and you can only do certain things to a console. So if the sender is a player, then you do something. A better way to do this, which some people like, some people prefer, if sender is not instance of player, gonna have to set the parentheses just like this so that, man, how do I keep doing that? If everything inside here is set to false, if sender is not instance of player, then bucket.get console sender, and we're just going to send our console a message because they apparently used the console to send the command. Dot send message. We're going to chat color red, dark red, just for emphasis. Okay, that one. This command, sorry, can only be executed by a player. There. Now, that means when somebody runs this command through the console, it'll send the console this message in dark red. Now we're going to have to return true, just like that. And that means that it doesn't do anything else afterwards. So now down here we're going to have else, just like that. So that means if it is indeed the player and not, whoops, I'm going to do it again, aren't I? Yep. Okay. If the sender is a player instead of it being not a player, then if, now here's the thing, right here is where we're going to determine the name of the command. So / this. You can either do command label dot equals ignore case, just like this, and then have the name of the command. A lot of people prefer that you do not do it that way, just because some people think that it can cause issues. I never had any problem with it, but I have switched to cmd.getName just because I like it better. And then you do dot equals ignore case, just like this. And then the name of the command. So in this case, we're going to run the command. See, what are we going to do? Apple. We'll do / apple, just like this. Now, equals ignore case is different than equals. If we have equals, then it does include a capital letter. If it's equals ignore case, it doesn't matter what you type, so long as it's those letters, it'll run it. Now, if command get name equals ignore case apple, so they're going to type / apple, then P, which we've determined up here to be the sender, so long as the sender is a player, will player dot, and now that opens up every the player. So we're going to do p dot get inventory, and we're going to add item. And now this is an item stack. We're going to learn about item stacks later. Let me think. For now, I suppose you can just copy exactly what I type, and I'll teach you about that at another time. For now, we're just learning the command part itself. The rest of it's not important right now. I will be explaining it at another time. You can try to figure it out for yourself. I wouldn't suggest doing too much because you can often cause errors which can shut down your server, and that can cause some problems with your morale. So new item stack, just like that. And right in here we're going to do material dot apple, just like that, comma 1. So that's 1 apple. Gotta end that. Now we have to import item stack from bukkit.getInventory. Now we're going to also p.sendMessage. Yes, that's right, you can send a message not only to the console but to the player as well. So we're going to do chat color dot, we'll do gold for this. You have been given an apple. Just like that. Fairly simple. Right, not really too complicated. It's just player send message. You've been given an apple in gold, and that is when they type the command / apple if they're a player. So we'll save this now. What we've got to do is we've got to change in the plugin.yml. We have to add a field called commands, just like that. Space it. I always do 4 spaces just because after the 4th space it leaves this little mark here, and I like to see that little mark, so I just do 4 spaces. Do not tab. Tab will not work. It doesn't register it if you tab it. It says you've got an invalid character. So now we have to put in, because that's the name of the command that we put in. Now over here we're going to put in usage, and we'll have command just like this. You can also, it is not required, put in description just like this, and gives the player an apple. So if they type / help and then this command, it will tell them gives the player an apple. Which brings me to another thing. Under author, there's another optional field here. You can put description inside that, and this is a basic tutorial plugin. Here we go. That way, if you type / help and then the name of the plugin, that's a Bukkit command, and it will tell you all of the help about the plugin, which will be this description, this command, and this description, and this usage. So now we'll save this. There's one more thing we've got to do before we can use that command. I'm going to have to go here to the main class, and under Bukkit.get console sender, in on enable. So when it enables, it's going to get command. Now, in here, this is where we put the name of the command. So we're going to put in apple, just like that. And then we're going to set the executor of the apple. So we're going to tell Java this is where the command's coming from. It's coming from CMDs, just like this. Now, because it is a new executor, we don't have it already registered in here. We don't have it set. We're going to do new space CMDs, and it doesn't import anything. It's just all set up and ready to go. Alright, and that should be it. Let's try this thing out. So we're going to now refresh because we changed the plugin.yml. You must refresh it, and this notes needs to go. That was note to self there. So now we'll refresh it again, and we will export as a jar file. We'll export into the same place we did before, only we're going to not name it first, we're going to name it second. That way we can have two different plugins, both of them being registered. Finish. Alright, now we're going to join this server. Alrighty, here we are on our little test island. There's our neighbor. Hello, tree. We're going to do reload, just like that. It's done. Let's have a look at this console. Ah, beautiful. First has been successfully enabled, second has been successfully enabled. But it doesn't say second, notice that. That's because I forgot something not so crucial, but it could be considered crucial, just because you don't want to get them confused. Second has been successfully enabled. Now, we will try exporting again. Next, finish, yes, we're ready to go. We'll reload. Let's have another look. That's better. Second has been enabled, first has been enabled. It doesn't matter what order they're enabled in, that just depends on which one it started working on first. So, now we shall type /apple. And look at that. You have been given an apple, and we have an apple. No, we can't eat it because we're in creative, but that's not really the point. Let's do /help, actually, PL. Shows both plugins, /help space second, and there's the help. Below is a list of all second commands. Apple gives the player an apple. Where it says apple right here, that is explaining the usage, /apple. That's where we type / and then the command in the, I don't know what you'd call them, triangular brackets, I suppose. So that is the help we've gotten from it. That's how you create any basic command, and I'll show you some of the subcommands and permissions that you can add later so that only certain people can use the command. That way not everybody can just type in apple and get a free apple, because that would really make the game lame. So we're going to change that around, and we're going to show you next tutorial how to use a subcommand. And hey, you guys, if you enjoyed this, if it helped you at all, hit that like button, subscribe, tell a friend about this, about it, or wants to learn about it, maybe forgot something about it. Bring them here and I'll teach them about it. And if you have any suggestions, any at all, please put that in the comments below. And if you have any questions, there is no such thing as a stupid question. I cannot say that enough. There's no such thing as a stupid question. There are only stupid answers. And yes, I do really try not to give those. So if I give a stupid answer, please forgive me. Let me know. I'll try better again the next time. And you guys have a nice day, and keep those comments coming. I'm glad to see them.